Now we're going to get started. I want to introduce my co-moderator. And so I'd like to introduce you to Monique. Hey, Monique.
Hey, how are you?
So Monique is a multimedia journalist, and she's covering civic technology. And she is a consultant helping large and small businesses optimize their use of digital media. She's also an advocate for women in STEM and the owner of Savvy Consulting and Communications. You go, girl. According to Monique, the driving force behind her work is leading by example and encouraging women to confidently pursue their academic and professional aspirations. So now I'm going to hand it over to Monique, and she's going to kick us off.
All right, thank you so much. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us. I am so excited about having this conversation and that Yewande decided to relaunch Brown Girls in Digital, because I feel like this is a community that is very much needed, because we were just talking earlier this morning about how we women who work in digital are the every woman, because we have our hands in everything, have to have at least a baseline understanding of everything that has to do with digital, and we get the job done. So one of those women, every woman who does, get the job done is Taylar Barrington, who is our guest of honor today for our very first Brown Girls in Digital conversation. So to tell you a little bit about Taylar, she started her first business by conceptualizing, building, and working her own lemonade stand when she was 8 years old. Okay, so we'll start there. And it was then that both the marketer and the entrepreneur within Taylar was ignited. Today, with more than 10 years of experience, she is the founder of Cliquish, a mission-driven company that teaches the business of content creation to more than 10,000 women. And those women are content creators across the globe. In addition to entrepreneurship, Taylar has held corporate leadership roles with Hyatt, Nielsen, Samsung, Verizon, and Kraft Foods. So we have an expert on hand today that's going to tell us a little bit more about herself. And when this conversation is over, you can learn more about Taylar and her impact in the Every Girl, Afrotech, and EXO Nicole. So welcome, Taylar. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Every time I hear my bio, I'm like, is that me or?
the every woman, Brown Girl in Digital. That is you.
Yes, thank you. I'm so glad to be here and, hopefully bring some value to the table in this conversation.
Okay, well, with knowing your experience before you decided to strike out on your own and start Cliquish, what gave you the inspiration or courage, rather, to do that, to make that decision?
Oh my gosh. I believe that, starting a business or getting into entrepreneurship is really all about doing it through fear. I think that we all are really brave, ideating ideas, coming up with ideas, and then putting it out there for the world to see, to judge, to opt into or not to opt into. So I think what really grounds me is my mission. And that is and has always been to empower women to follow their dreams, to create and put into the world, or put out into the world, what they are passionate about and what they desire to leave as a legacy. And so I'm really excited that I'm able to do that now through Cliquish. And as you mentioned, we help and teach the business of content creation to female bloggers, YouTubers, podcasters, content creators. And we do that through like our 3-tier approach. And we really have a great time doing it. So I'm excited.
And when I say courage, so you had, that passion, and you knew what legacy, or what legacy you want to leave by building Cliquish. What was your response to others? And we'll just leave that open in terms of who the others are, who may not understand that vision, because it's like only you get that vision. And so when you get the questions about why are you gonna leave that good job, you're gonna leave that good job, to do what?
when,
So.
when I was just talking to a girlfriend of mine today who is celebrating her 1-year business bursary. And she and I were basically talking about how celebrating business bursaries are important amongst each other, right? As far as entrepreneurs or our ecosystem of each other, because we are the only ones that understand the magnitude of this, right? And like when I left my last job 6 years ago, I was a teacher. And the ironic thing, or I guess the different part of my story, is that I actually liked my job. Most people leave because they don't like their job or because they don't feel fulfilled, but I felt all of those things. But I felt compelled to do more and to serve more in a different capacity that aligned more with what I really enjoyed, which was the women's part. That part was really missing in my day-to-day. But when I got ready to make that leap, I honestly didn't have a whole lot of conversations with everybody else. And I think that's the key. The key is to kind of make up your mind that this is the decision that you want to make, and not necessarily turn to other people for approval. It's very hard to, when you have a big mission or a big vision, to be able to get the stamp of approval from people who don't. So, the key here, or the key for me, was just not sharing it with a lot of people. I just did it. And it's been a great ride. And, the people who were naysayers or that I've heard were like, what the heck is Taylar doing? Are some of my biggest supporters now. So, sometimes you just got to zip up and, take action and just show people,
Right. Okay. Now, right now, with this current health crisis, it's brought on a lot of fear and uncertainty for people. And understandably so. And a lot of people are using this time to reorganize and refocus on goals, and maybe even rebuild what they started to make sure that once we do, and we will, because we're going to be positive about this, come out on the other side of this.
Right.
What steps are you taking or advising other people in this moment, in terms of branding, business, anything?
Yeah, I honestly am not giving out advice right now because I'm currently, full transparency, navigating this just alongside everyone else.
Yeah.
And certainly have, my reservations about all of the things that we had to postpone or cancel or kind of rework and reschedule. But I think the key here is just being flexible. I think, and kind of letting go of control. We're definitely in a space, in a place right now where we don't have a whole lot of control over the economy or people's well-beings, people losing their jobs, people not being able to leave their homes. Like, we don't really have control over that. So I think one of the keys to kind of rising to the top right now and being able to navigate the situation is flexibility, and just kind of being very, very kind of having your finger on the pulse of your audiences and your communities and listening to what they need and what they want right now, and being flexible with executing that.
Okay. And that actually is a perfect transition into a previous brief conversation we had during our first call. You mentioned clarity being a must for you as a business owner. And, personally and as a business owner, what advice do you have for entrepreneurs who struggle with having clarity, not only about, personal relationships, but clarity about what they need to do with their business, regardless of the time we're in right now? Like, you made that a point when you started your business that I need clarity before. Yeah. So yeah. For that person that's still kind of everywhere, has a lot of good ideas, but needs to just really focus in on how you're going to move forward.
Oh my gosh. I think it honestly goes back to that same flexibility. Something that I've mastered, I told you I left my job 6 years ago. And since then I've had 3 businesses and 3 brands. that have all just kind of very fluidly kind of come about. And I think a lot of that is the art of the pivot and the art of understanding that what you put out there initially or first might not be the final iteration, but to, you know, kind of come up with an idea, the one that you're most excited about executing, and make sure that that idea does have clarity. It has a target audience. It has a function, a main business function, and that you can clearly state and articulate in a single sentence what it is that you do to people. And then as you're going along through the process and you notice, again, all of this is about the pulse of your community, and you notice along the way that, hey, maybe I should put more emphasis here, or maybe this is actually where people want me to go. You'll be surprised that, you know, and that's how we got to Cliquish, right? Like, you'll be surprised that people will tell you what they want from you, and you got to be flexible, master the art of the pivot, and, you know, go where you glow.
I love that, actually. So with that said, and us learning as we go as entrepreneurs, what's that one thing you wish somebody would have told you? Even like before you even had the name Cliquish, and you're like, I'm starting a business. Maybe I'm not.
Oh my God. I wish people would have told me all the things. And, you know, it's kind of what I do through like my personal profile, my personal Instagram, is I really do try to pull back the curtain a little bit and really hope to amp that up some more this year, because I feel when I kind of got into entrepreneurship and started dipping my toe in it, I left my job in 2014, but I really started in 2010. And back then it was hustle mentality. It was all about no sleep, don't eat, build your business. You know, I even at one point was told, like, why are you dating? You don't need to date. You need to focus on building your business. And I'm sitting here like, but I have this great man who is probably like, if I let this go, you know, and so the mentality was very different. And so I wish that someone would have told me that you can create what success looks like for your business, and that there is no standard, right? For some people, hustling is what, why they live and breathe. They love it. They love the hustle mentality. For other people, having a 6-figure business is enough. And so being able to kind of, for me, I think that was kind of my struggle, is just trying to create this standard of what success looked like. And I have done that for myself. But for all of you that are on here, if you are entrepreneurs or looking to start a business, you know, don't compare. You really kind of do some self-evaluation about what success looks like for you. And that's what you aim for, not what everybody else is doing.
Okay. And we're going to wrap it up with you giving us your must-have resource to get through your day.
To get through my day, I would say prayer and meditation.
Okay.
I think for sure, you know, again, got to have your boxing gloves on every day. Sometimes you kind of get blown around in the wind, but I think meditation keeps me centered, and prayer keeps me humble. And so I use both of those every single day.
Okay. Thank you so much, Taylar.
You're welcome.
All right. Now back to Yewande. We're going to continue today's discussion because we need to get into talking about digital relationships. And what exactly does that mean?
Yes.